Hello, welcome to Unboxed God, where we detox from religion and discover the God who refuses to fit inside the boxes we were given. I'm Tolu Sarah Johnson, and here we explore who God really is beyond fear, beyond formulas, and beyond everything we were taught to perform. If you're hungry for a real relationship with Him, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. So, still on our current book, The Father's Outcry. This is chapter 10, Mistaking Obedience for Bargaining Power. All of these chapters resonate so well with me because I've done pretty much every one of them. I thought using obedience to negotiate outcomes was the right way for me to interact or to relate with God. So, after confronting the performance based prayer in chapter 9, the Father now addresses another deeply rooted distortion, the belief that obedience is a currency, a bargaining chip, a spiritual lever that compels God to act. This is one of the most destructive misunderstandings in the Christian walk because it takes something beautiful, sacred, and relational and turns it into a formula. God says obedience was meant to be love expressed. You turn it into leverage. We all know it. And it's the way the pastors, the prophet, those men of God, the way they presented it, they make you feel like you have to continue to do to get from God. And many children obey God not out of love, but out of fear, insecurity, or expectation of reward. They think if I obey, God will bless me. If I obey, He will give me what I want. If I obey, I will earn a place in heaven. If I obey, I will avoid punishment. This mindset is everywhere. We use obedience as currency. People perform spiritual duties not to know God, but to influence Him. Fasting to force a breakthrough. Giving to secure financial increase. Serving to earn divine promotion. Church attendance to gain favor, moral behavior to guarantee blessing. This turns spiritual discipline to bargaining chips, as if God can be coerced into action through effort. And do you know what Papa said? Papa said, Tolu, I prefer those ones that they say they are atheists. And they don't care. They just tell me how it is. I dislike performance. I dislike obedience to manipulate me. And that is what a lot of my children do. And they expect me to place them above that atheist that has been real to me. You know, at the beginning, when Papa was saying, Tolu, remember Jesus said, I'd rather prefer you to be hot or cold. I prefer someone that is hot or cold than lukewarm. I would prefer a witch over a Christian that is pretending. I was wondering, God, why? How? But the more I sat at his feet, the more I understand the pretense, the more I understand the deception, the more I understand the wickedness that goes through the heart of Christians thinking that they are better than that person that has brought himself to God and that has remained open before God. No coercion. Just, this is me, God. I don't believe in you. If you know you exist, prove yourself. Now I agree with God that it is better for him to cling to an atheist that he knows his intention than a Christian that is so deceptive. We do things just because of what we're going to get back. It's so clear. It's so clear. You pay your tithe, they will be telling you there's always an emphasis. If you want double promotion, if you want triple promotion, if you want multiple, tenfold, whatever promotion, bring your money. And that's what trigger people. They pay. They pay because of what they want back. And the prosperity gospel reinforces this like give so that God will multiply it back to you. And this may give in a transaction, a spiritual investment expecting guaranteed return. And I have a friend that always reinforces it to me all the time. Tolu, you're being blessed because you're giving aside. Stop! I'm trying to come out of religion. Please stop dragging me back to it. I don't need to pay tithe for God to bless me. I am his child. He knows it's his responsibility to provide for all of his children, irrespective. I've got 3 girls, and those 3 girls, naturally, because of the way we brought them up, me and my husband, they kind of like children that obey in school, obey authority. But each time, every time I go for their parent meeting, they just keep saying, oh, they're so lovely, they're so respectful. And I had to sit them down and say, girls, are you sure you're not performing? Are you sure there's something that you want to say? And because you're fearful of disobeying authority because of what we've said, so you pretend to be a nice person. I said, I really want you to challenge authority. If you feel that what you're being told is not right, challenge it. Do not pretend to not perform. So I had to start getting that bag out of them. Because a lot of us were brought up, actually, even from our natural parent, we are already brought up to perform for authority. And automatically, you just channel, you project that to God as well. And Jesus warned against this mindset when he said, many will say, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we perform miracles? But I will say, I never knew you. They were busy doing for God, but never became one with God. Their obedience was external performance, not internal devotion. God does not respond to obedience that is hollow, formulaic, or manipulative. He responds to obedience born from love. And God has proved that to me over and over again. I told you, I'll do something for you when I'm ready. You cannot bend my hand. You cannot force me to do it. And I'm learning to trust in his timing now. When I was learning to hear him speak to me, oh my God, that was a painful experience. I am used to having something so quick, so fast. Hearing God takes a lot of practice. You have to be determined. You have to be there, not because you want to get something in return, but because you really want to develop a relationship with him. And God makes it intentionally difficult. God said, Tolu, if I make myself available easily for people, people will not value me. So God makes that process like you really have to desire it to continue to come back and come back and come back. And that's why me and Matthew were still here. For the past 2 years, we've been doing almost daily, daily conversation with God. It takes you wanting it. It takes you desiring God to continue to come. And I'm grateful to God that God continues to hold my hands, and I know he loves me, and I know he knows I love him. And the Father gently corrects this distortion. Say, obedience does not end my love. It expresses yours. Obedience is not currency. It is connection. Obedience is proof of love. Now I obey him as a proof of love. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandment. Not to demand compliance, but to reveal that obedience is the natural fruit of affection. And love inspires obedience. Fear manufactures it. So, Jesus promised, those who obey my teachings, the Father will love them in a deeper way, and I will manifest myself to them. This is not a reward. It is a relationship response. Obedience positions the heart to hear God more clearly, to receive guidance more freely, and walk in unity more fully. And that's why the recordings I'm doing here, they're going into a book I'm currently writing. I don't care about the money. I'm not writing this book because I want it to be a #1 Christian bookseller or I want to make millions and billions. No. I am pouring my heart to the reader so that they can learn who God truly is. And that's why it's sold for 99 cents, especially if you're going to for Kindle. That's the cheapest I could sell my Kindle version. And that's why I'm making it free. I can make all my books free if Amazon will allow me, because I'm not doing it to make money. I'm doing it because I love him and I'm obeying him joyfully. I'm not obeying him to get anything in return because I know it doesn't work anyway. Matthew is so intimate with God, but he's experienced so much pain that more than I've ever seen someone on earth. And how will you say you're so close to God and you have all of these struggles in your life? So what does that mean? You can't bribe God. Every one of us have got a destiny, and you will live your destiny, whether you agree to it or not. It's up to you. And if you decide that you're not going to live your destiny, you can still not bribe God to give you something that He's not going to give you. Papa said to me one day, said, Tolu, if your daughter, who is 11 years old, comes to you that she wants you to buy a car for her and to start driving, will you give it to her? I said, no. I said, why? Because I know it can kill her. Yes, I'm the same. I wouldn't give you something. You could bribe me for however you want. I only give it to you because I know you need it. And Papa said, obey first, and through that obedience, you will learn my ways are better than yours. Obedience equals experience, experience equals trust, and trust equals greater obedience. This cycle isn't manipulation, it's transformation. And true obedience springs from the revelation. God loves me unconditionally, whether I succeed or fail. I know that for sure now. Like God even said it recently, said, Tolu, I respect every of my children and come to the earth. It is painful enough to live on earth. And I respect all of them. Whether you succeed based on human assumptions, that does not mean nothing to me. All my children are valuable before me. So when striving ends, true obedience begins. It becomes natural, joyful, and free. Not a burden, not a duty, a delight. And obedience has outcome, yes, but obedience are principles, not payment. Just as a father delights in a child who honors him, God says, obedience fill my heart with joy, and I respond with generosity. He entrusts more to those who steward well: authority, responsibility, influence, clarity, purpose. So, but these are not wages. They are the natural fruit of alignment. Disobedience does not cancel God's love, but it creates natural pain, broken trust, broken relationship, broken peace, broken direction. Yet God's discipline is not anger. It is love in action, pruning what harms us so we can grow. Even God himself has to grow. Today, Papa told me, I told you, this past 2 years, all these questions you've been asking me, you've made me a better God. I'm like, what? What did you say, Papa? You're telling me that I've made you a better God? Say, yes, of course. We don't know God. I'm serious. The God that's been sold to us in church is totally different from the God I know now. So, we all need to be pruned, including God. We are all growing together. You challenge him. You stretch him. Say, woman kind of stretch me to love more, to love better. They keep stretching me. So, even though earthly blessings matters, the greatest outcome of obedience is spiritual. That is what I've come to know. The greatest outcome of obedience is I will reveal myself to them. That's what Papa says. He will reveal himself to me. That is my greatest reward I've got from this. Knowing him. More of his presence, more of his nearness, more of his clarity, more of his freedom, more of his love. God did not say, I didn't promise you I will give you millions of pounds. I don't want millions of pounds. I just need enough to take care of my needs. But what I want more than all of that is his presence, is his nearness, is his clarity, is his freedom, is his love. I've seen so many people that had money, they still commit suicide. Money doesn't bring happiness. It doesn't bring, it can bring maybe a fleeting happiness, but that eternal joy can only be brought by knowing him. Matthew Robert paints such a deep, joyful man because he knows that he knows God, and he knows he is his friend. Obedience is worship, not because God demands it, but because love expresses itself through those alignments. God always gave me so many analogies. He gave me an analogy of the student and the exam. He said, mistaking obedience for bargaining power is like a student who believes if I study, the professor will be forced to give me A. But studying doesn't bribe the professor. Studying prepares the student. The A is not the professor responding to effort. It is the natural result of understanding the material. Likewise, obedience is how we gain God's heart. Intimacy is how we grow. Blessings are the natural fruit of alignment. Obedience isn't a bribe. It is a pathway to become like him. So, God isn't condemning, he is calling. Stop using obedience to earn what I already long to give. Obey because you trust me. Obey because you love me. Obey because his ways are life. Obey because obedience shapes you into Christ's image. It says, walk with me, not to gain leverage over me, but because you know my love has already chosen you. Obedience isn't negotiation. It is intimacy. Do you want me to say it again? Obedience isn't negotiation. It is intimacy. And I hope you've been blessed by this book. God bless.